that chase, like, the thing that bugged me, I guess, was there was no real variance to it. Like, it's just
Sure.
a Delta Force, like, underling guy kind of weaving through these alleyways in this van as Chuck
Right.
Norris just, Chuck Norris just hangs out of the car and shoots. And, like, he's not
Yeah.
even getting off any good, like, bants or anything like that. He's just like,
Well, that's the thing. Chuck Norris can't deliver one-liners. Okay, I learned
no.
this from watching Invasion USA. All right, of the great '80s action stars and their one-liners, Arnold, the king.
A league
When
of
it
his
comes
own,
to
yeah. Yeah.
Commando, especially, I think Stallone, I think, had a few good ones in like Cobra. Maybe I'm not really sure, but there are certain actors you shouldn't even try with that because they just don't have that charisma. And I
Yeah.
think Chuck Norris is a perfect example of that. I'll say Charles Bronson as well.
Oh,
To
God,
me,
yes.
it's almost funnier. It's funnier to me that he just doesn't that he doesn't have one liners because he's so old and he's just going around killing these people. That having been said, of course, Charles Bronson does have one of the greatest one liners in film history in Death Wish 2 when he says,
You believe in Jesus? Yes, I do. Well, you're going to meet him.
So, not only does Chuck Norris, like, deliver a lot of these lines with, like, no charisma whatsoever, like,
Yeah.
even the way he
Yeah.
moves just feels so stiff. And, like, he's a guy that's a black belt in, like, 3 martial arts disciplines.
yes,
But in the movie, he moves, like, so stiffly.
this is the great irony of Chuck Norris's film career. He is an accomplished martial artist. He could have been the American Bruce Lee. He could have been essentially what Jean-Claude Van Damme ended up making his career on. I know Jean-Claude Van Damme is an American, but you know what I mean. He's an American.
He was in a Bruce Lee movie, even.
Yes, he was. He gets
Yeah.
his chest hair ripped off in the Coliseum, of course, famously. But he could have been that, and then for some reason, I don't know if it was his decision or the filmmakers or if this was just. I mean, Canon made ninja movies. They made martial arts movies. They could have thrown him in those, but he's just in these gun movies, and that's
Yeah.
just not. I don't think it takes that much as an actor to just fire a gun, but so the guys you usually put in those movies, they're like big and strong. Your Rambos and your Matrix, not the Keanu Reeves movie, but the John Matrix and Commando. Like they're just like big, tough. And in the case of Arnold and Stallone, they're also charismatic actors. And Chuck Norris is just like the diet version of that. And it's just kind of unfortunate. I feel like I don't think Chuck Norris is a talented actor, obviously, but I think there was a way where you could have capitalized on his talents better in film than they ever really did.
And to your point about them misusing him, there was a quote that I found from Golan where he said, "We look at Chuck as having the potential of a Clint Eastwood." And
yes, I saw that quote.
And it's like, Clint
Eastwood has talent, though.
Clint Eastwood is a once-in-a-generational figure, both as an actor and as a director. Like,
well, yeah, and then I'm sure Golan wasn't even talking directing, but yeah, Eastwood is talented. Is the difference? A Chuck Norris Dirty Harry. First of all, Chuck Norris couldn't have delivered. I mean, Dirty Harry is classic one-liners. They're not one-liners in the like Commando sense where they're like comedy lines, but
yeah.
Go ahead, make my day, and do you feel lucky? Like that stuff. Imagine Chuck Norris delivering those lines. It would have been awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Chuck Norris kind of sucks.